Now, I was ambivalent during my first few weeks at home. I was excited that I was going to see you soon. I wanted to make sure that your mom was okay. But I was also pretty angry. I seethed with anger from what I had experienced at that last project. I had to be careful now about how I dealt with it. I had to be careful because of my health. I had to be careful because of my family. I also had to be careful to whom I complained. I learned this the hard way back in those charter school days. I needed to channel that frustration. Can't keep it in. Got to channel it. Channel it into productive fuel. So I did what I do best. I started researching and writing to continue the momentum created during my last days on the project. Now I use flip cameras in my filmmaking. These are small, tripod mountable devices with nice rubberized cases that make them very easy to hold. And they shoot high definition quality video. Now, the growing popularity of the smartphone, the built-in camera, caused the flip to be discontinued, I think in around 2010, before I had ever even heard of them. Now, when I learned about them, it didn't matter that they weren't popular anymore. They were still excellent and repurposeful as storytelling tools. And as discontinued technology, they were also cheap, inexpensive, and undervalued. Now, as the de facto technology buyer, I had been asked to purchase some of these flips for one of our program directors to use to film teacher evaluations. That opportunity was a chance for me to quantify their perceived value. They're inexpensive, they're undervalued. That's the hypothesis. I learned that they were even cheaper than I thought. Now that helped me save my client a lot of money. More importantly, it also helped me make a lot of money. Now then I identified viable sources that allowed me to buy them cheaply and then sell them at their market value. Now, I spent that first week at home buying every flip camera I could find. But once they were mailed to me, checked them out, I listed them. And they sold well for a long time. And that took a load off my mind because it bought us some more time. I got a store that's got one product to support, one product to ship and provide customer service for. That worked, and that worked well. The two of the schools that I used to visit for free to train their leaders, they also approached me with other projects. They knew that you would be born soon, so they both let me help them whenever I could. And again, that took a load off my mind, and it bought us some more time. Now, as your arrival approached, I started to imagine what life would look like once you were here. Then I imagined what it would look like when you grew up. I was filled with both hope and caution, so I started to write about the hope. There were two poems that I had written in previous years that represented what I thought was my best work. Now, one was called Johnny, written in 2002. I spelled Johnny, Johney. Shout out to Dr. Johnny Boyd Green Jr. Johnny reminded me to teach students and not subjects. Now it goes like this. Why, oh why can't Johnny read? Probably because the brother's name is Khalid. Yet the majority of so-called experts have agreed on the cultural ideas they would force feed. Why, oh why can't Johnny write? Because instead of him creating, he just has to recite. We offer him a perspective that he finds quite trite, then have the gall to try to label him as not too bright. Why, oh why can't Johnny do math? Might it be that he fails to see the relevance of its path? Now he'll tell you that he's tried to get it, but not yet he hath. Its oddities sometimes confuse and ultimately draw his wrath. Now why, oh why can't Johnny lead? Maybe we've instilled in him a false way to succeed. Servitude and loving take back seats to greed. Destiny and purpose are supplanted by need. Why, oh why can't Johnny create? Perhaps it's because the boy just can't relate to the stark and cold realities that continue to await solutions to the problems of our existing state. Why, oh why can't Johnny think? Maybe we've not yet shown him the missing link between ideas and paper and that pen of ink that lead the horse to water and also help him drink. That's Johnny. Now the other one was called You Can't See Me, an Ode to the Invisible. I wrote that one in 2012. That one's about being transparent while feeling invisible. A careful balance that I'm still learning how to achieve. Now that one goes like this. My life is but an instrument, singing songs in many keys, of wisdom earned through lessons learned from mistakes of varying degrees. Here's one. Do not mistake activity for achievement. Arriving on time means you're late. To be on time, get there early. Fall 7 times, but get up 8. Now if it happens 1 time, that's an accident. Happens 2 times, might be a trend. Happens 3 times, that's a problem. But forgiveness is your friend. The race is not to the swift, but to the ones who maintain. So stay aligned and on your grind and stay in your own lane. Keep it slow and steady. That's it. Nice and smooth. Always do your homework. Believe that God will approve. Every moment matters. You'd better realize. Then you can quickly respond to opportunities you recognize. Don't despise the small tasks. Pursue them diligently. Passion and purpose are often discovered through acts of ministry. Keep a pad of paper and a nearby pen of ink. Write your visions plainly. Make time to pray and think. Don't believe the hype. Avoid the glittery and the bejeweled. When we think with our eyes, we are often easily fooled. All money ain't good money. Sometimes less is more. Make a living through your giving. Learn to turn 2 into 4. Your fear is your only courage. Be scared to disobey. Be scared to rock that boat, but sometimes rock it anyway. Know how to keep your quiet until it's time to say. And if your heart ain't feeling right, say it another way. Freedom of speech means come correct. Be quick to listen, but quicker to respect. Be slow to speak, even slower to get twisted. The meek ain't weak. Self-control beats double-fisted. The only thing to know is that you don't know squat. And no one cares what you know if they think you care not. So pick your spot. Practice. Don't preach. When the student is ready, the teacher will teach. When faced with a fool, Proverbs 26, 5 and 4. Sometimes let that thing go. But sometimes let that fool know. Raise your child with loving instruction. Encourage growth, but discourage rambunctious. Remember that you are equal in essence, but very different in function. No good deed goes unrewarded, but the payoff is seldom immediate. Dreams manifest at God's appointed time. Though it tarries, wait for it. And I used to joke around and call those first two poems the trilogy, but I only had two. I was reminding myself that I had to get myself at least one more hit to make it a real trilogy. And that came one night when we were watching some bad news being broadcast on TV. We were pregnant with you then. It was like July 2013. I started to feel the frustration and despair that I have learned to convert into hope and healing. So on that night, I wrote, "Stand Your Ground." Now, this was about staying focused on the road ahead despite circumstances and strife that would distract you. And that one goes like this. Now I lay me down to sleep. I kiss my wife and ponder deep. I wonder why. That's okay. See, my answers tomorrow are my questions today. Then I kneel and start to pray. Ask the Lord to have his way. Stay focused on a future day. Hope to keep all harm at bay, so my baby girl can play. Jump on me, yell, "Daddy, yay!" Master piano, dance ballet. I'm gonna tell her about our wedding day, how to wait for her fiancé. Relationships begin with hey, then take their course, la vie c'est. I'm gonna tell her to do her work for more than pay. Know when to go and when to stay. Correct her course if she should stray. See that this world is still cray-cray. The brave, they're scared to disobey, but sometimes do it anyway. Now, the fools rush in, but the wise survey. You want to think twice, act once, avoid the fray. Now, accountable talk never starts with they. Power means more than being able to sway. Then I reach amen, rise again, ready to engage, embark, and win. I keep my eyes wide shut, but with open heart. See, this game ain't fair, so you gotta play it smart. The road ahead is still paved with life, despite all circumstance and strife. She can change the world if I maintain, stay on my grind, and in my lane. I decided to use the trilogy to begin a series of letters that I would write to you about life, love, and learning. And I called the collection Dear Hannah. Got about 75 letters in the collection now, and all of them are special. But these first three, I say, they are my best.